going to go over parallel lines and rewriting slope-intercept, the y equals mx plus b, into standard form. So slope-intercept, we went over it in the previous lessons. Slope-intercept is y equals mx plus b. M represents the slope, b represents the y-intercept. And then we have standard form, where it's ax plus by equals c. So this one's a little, so comparing it to slope-intercept, x and y are together on one side of the equal sign and numbers on the other side. So we'll go over examples on that. Now, so when we were talking about parallel lines, so when you graph parallel lines, you can look at equations. If they give you equations and ask you, will these create parallel lines? Y equals 2/3 x, y equals 2/3 x plus 2/3 x, or y equals 2/3 x minus 2. If you look carefully, the slope in front, so remember, slope is always in front of x. The slope, if the slopes are the same, you know these lines are parallel. So parallel means the lines are across each other. So when I graph them, they're going to look like something like this. Since all of them are positive slopes here, they're just going to be parallel lines. They're just right across each other. So you know, so if they give you equations and they ask you, are these equations parallel? You can say yes or no easily. For this case, we can say yes because all of them have the same slope. So when you have, so parallel lines means you have the same slope. The lines have the same slope. All right, let's go over examples. So first we're going to go over examples of changing slope-intercept to standard form. Then we're going to go over changing standard form to slope-intercept form. And then a quick note for standard form, you never want a fraction. So if there's any fractions, you have to get rid of it. Alright, so we're going to change. So I'm going to go over examples changing slope-intercept form. So always read the instructions if they want slope-intercept form to standard form or standard form to slope-intercept form. Alright, so y equals 4/5 x plus 2. So because I know I want to change it to standard form, and like I said, you never want a fraction in standard form. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of the fraction. So my denominator here is 5. So I'm going to multiply each part by 5. Alright, so 5 times y is 5y. Well, a trick here, when you have the same number on top and bottom, they cancel, so these 5's cancel each other out. So I'm left with 4x, and then 5 times 2 is 10. Now I want to get the x and y together on one side of the equal sign, so I'm going to do the opposite. So y is all by itself here, but I need to move this x over here, so I'm going to minus 4x on both sides. And I get negative 4x, so because we want to put x first, so I'm going to use the sign negative 4x plus 5y equals 10. I can tell it's in standard form because I need x and y together on one side and number on the other side, so it is complete. All right, let's go over another example. So if we have y equals negative 2x minus 1. Right, this one's nice. This one's easier because there's no fraction, but y and x are not together, so all I have to do is do the opposite of whatever this x is to get it to where the y is. So plus 2x on both sides. So my standard form is 2x plus y equals negative 1, and it's done. All right, let's go ahead and do another one. Y equals equals 5/3 x. All right, notice there's not a number there. We'll talk about what happens with that. But first, let's get rid of the fraction. We do not want fractions. So what's my denominator? 3. So I'm going to multiply each one by 3. So 3 times y is 3y. These 3's cancel, so I'm left with 5x. All right, I need to get 5x and 3y on the same side. I like to get it all to the left side, so opposite of 5x is negative 5x. I'm minusing 5x on both sides, so I have negative 5x plus 3y equal 0, and that's it. That is the standard form. So if there's nothing there, if you have no number, you just put 0. All right, that is changing slope-intercept to standard form. So if you have a fraction, make sure to multiply the denominator by each part so you get rid of it, and then whatever letter is not on the left side of the equal sign, do the opposite of it, move it, so you get the x and y together on one side of the equal sign. All right, now let's go over standard form to slope-intercept form. So when you want to change standard form to slope-intercept form, the goal is, if you look at slope-intercept form, y is all by itself on one side of the equal sign. So the goal is to get y on one side of the equal sign and all the other stuff on the other side of the equal sign. So let's go over an example. We have 2x plus 3y equals 6. So the goal is getting y all by itself on one side of the equal sign. So I'm going to go look at where my y is. All right, it is right here, right next to that 3. It's right here on the left side. So what I need to move the x to the other side. So right now I have 2x here. Well, opposite of positive 2x is negative 2x. So I'm going to minus 2x on both sides. I get 3y equals negative 2x plus 6. All right, so notice y is almost by itself, but it's being multiplied by 3. So I need to get the 3 away from the y by dividing. So I'm going to divide by 3 on each one. This cancels. I have y equals negative 2/3 x. Keep it as a fraction. Plus, if you check 6 do top divide by bottom, 6 divided by 3 is 2. And there's my answer. So when you change standard form to slope-intercept form, your goal is to get y all by itself on one side of the equal sign. Let's go over another one. All right, so we have negative x minus 2y equals 4. All right, so our goal is to get the y alone. So where's my y? It's right here. So I need to move the x. Right now I have a minus x. Opposite of minus x is plus x. What I do to one side, do to the other. I get negative 2y equals x plus 4. All right, I still need to get that y alone. It's right now being multiplied to negative 2, so I do the opposite of multiplying by negative 2, which is dividing by negative 2. What I do to one side, do to the other. All right, watch how I do this. So these cancel, so I get y equals, so x over 2, even if there's not a number there, it's technically, there's a 1 here. So this is 1 over negative 2, so I'm going to say negative 1/2 because a fraction turns negative if you have one negative number in the numerator or denominator. And then here, positive divided by negative is a negative, so I'm going to put a minus. 4 divided by 2 is 2. So y equals negative 1/2 x minus 2. All right, one more example for changing standard form to slope-intercept form. We have negative 3x plus 4y equals negative 8. All right, so again, my goal is getting y alone. All right, so always move your x. So do the opposite of the x if it's with the y right now. So opposite of negative 3x is positive 3x. What I do to one side, I do to the other side. So I get 4y equals 3x minus 8. Almost done. I still need to get the y alone. What do I need to do on both sides? I need to divide by 4. What I do to one side, I do to the other side. I get y equals 3/4 x Negative divided by positive is a negative, so 8 divided by 4 is 2, and it is finished.